East Africa is in the thick of a brutally unusual rainy season, and it's set to get worse. 2 tropical storms are expected to hit the region in the coming days. For weeks, torrential downpours have triggered landslides and flash flooding. The death toll stands at 250, with some 3 million affected. There are growing fears of starvation and disease outbreak. The wet weather is due to warmer temperatures in the Indian Ocean. In a moment, we'll get the latest on the response from Nairobi. But first, this report from the submerged Kenyan village of Kakola Umpaka.
These floods may have killed scores, deprived thousands of their homes. Now they threaten to wash away the dead. Not if these villagers have anything to do with it. Beneath this mound lies Joseph Abongo's late wife.
We're putting big rocks on top of the grave to prevent the coffin from coming out due to these floods.
The downpours have only compounded the grief. Joseph buried his wife just last week.
The person buried here is my mother-in-law. When we woke up, we found that the water was almost removing the coffin from the grave.
With the grave fixed for now, attention shifts to evacuations. More rain is on the way. And like many here, David Aguko is desperate to get his family and their things to higher ground. But no one here can escape the devastation this extreme weather has unleashed.
We don't have farms to cultivate, and even our cows were taken away by the floodwaters. So we have a big problem.
The arduous rebuilding process will have to wait. For now, survival is paramount.
For more on this, our correspondent Edith Kamani joins us from Nairobi, Kenya. Hello, Edith. So clearly, people still need help. How much support are they getting from the government?
At the moment, it's truly very difficult to gauge because this is a situation that is unfolding as we're speaking. So government is sort of trying to do preventative work as well as search and rescue. But there has been quite a little bit of money that's been pumped into this. The government of Kenya has put in the equivalent of about $2 billion US. And I do know that the UN Emergency Fund has also contributed $3 million. So quite a lot of fundraising being done in and around this issue, as I said, as it's unfolding.
So what is the main challenge of people right now?
Right now, for the ones who have survived, obviously, it is just the initial trauma. Some of these people have lost not just their homes, but family members, livestock, their entire livelihoods, because we're talking about entire farmlands being swept away. This is their main source of income. And beyond that, it's where to sleep, where to get food. These are all institutions which have been swept away. So we're seeing a situation where people are converging desperately at schools and hospitals, but there's simply not enough to go around. So we're seeing quite a bit of respiratory diseases unfolding, and there's still a big question as to what will happen to the number that's still being added.
Let's talk about long-term effects here. What long-term effects could all of this have on the region?
Well, we do know that there will need to be a serious pump on infrastructural redevelopment, roads and hospitals which have been swept away, as I said. But the immediate threat is diseases. Malaria, which is already on the rise in some of these regions, is now threatening to take back, or rather to take up more lives. And more of a bigger concern in the region is food security. This is a region, the Horn of Africa, which has just come out of a drought, and now there are floods. The food that was supposed to be harvested will no longer be there. So there's a huge, huge concern on food security, not just in Kenya, but in neighboring Somalia and South Sudan as well.
Okay, now more rains are expected throughout the month of December. How prepared is the region to handle this, Edith?
Not very. In fact, the government of Kenya, together with the governments of the countries that I've spoken about, are asking for international assistance in this. This is not something that was expected. It's not unusual to have rains at this time of the year. We call them the short rains. But to have them be so, rather the water levels to be so high is what is unexpected. And we're being told it's because of the heating of the Indian Ocean. So there's a huge conversation, or a bigger conversation, to be had about climate change and how to mitigate any of these future disasters.
Okay, Edith Kimani, DW correspondent in Kenya, thank you.